I wanted to talk about being a good team. This came up in a conversation that I was having yesterday with a client about what was coming up for her in regard to her long-term partnership and the sense of not feeling like a good team with her partner. There were too many goals and places where they were in disconnection with each other. One person had a goal around, say, financial responsibility that was different from the other person, and this sense of not being able to navigate these difficult conversations. And it really reminded me of several things. One of the things that it reminded me of was just how important it is to have that sense of being able to navigate life with another person in a personal relationship, whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship, and then also just what is required, or not even required, but what is it that having that sense of being a good team does for us as far as trust and then feeling committed. And whether we're working with a large organization and looking at a team within an organization, or we're looking at a family unit, they're really very similar. So I'm going to share with you a little story. Over the past month, I've been doing a remodeling project with my husband. And one of the things that really came out of that was we made it through this remodel, still friends, still married, and feeling like we were a really good team. And that doesn't mean that there was nothing that came up that was a road bump. In fact, towards the very end, the very last day of this project, I finally had hit a bit of a wall myself. And I noticed, in hindsight, is the reflection, was I noticed that I had finally hit the place where I wanted the world to come to me and not me to have to acclimate to the world. And this took place with me and a shop vac on a stairwell. And I was trying to vacuum, and my husband came over to help and put the vacuum cleaner up the next step. And I was like, don't touch the vacuum cleaner. And I kind of had a meltdown about the vacuum cleaner, and then coming back and apologizing for having a tantrum like a 3-year-old. But part of our being a good team was not that I had the tantrum, like that was just me being stressed out and tired. What was the teamwork was my ability to come back and apologize within a few minutes for acting like a 3-year-old and, throwing a tantrum, and his not taking it personally. So that was like, for me, it was so helpful that he just sort of was like, okay, I'll leave the vacuum alone. And he went off and did what he was going to be doing. And I was able to just sort of breathe into the fact that I just had this sort of meltdown over a vacuum cleaner, and the realization that I wanted the world to be accommodating me and not the other way around was a good insight. But the sense of teamwork was still there in spite of the fact that I had this little mini meltdown, because we were able to navigate the conversation that came afterwards. We were able to have this sense of, I apologize sincerely for acting like a 2-year-old or 3-year-old, and his just not taking it personally. And it reminded me of a story that I remember from a long time ago. I had a friend who was in the Peace Corps, and she went to South America with her partner. And she said that one of the things that she really loved about the process of being there with another person who you care about is that neither one of them wanted to leave at the same time. So when one of them had finally been like, I need mayonnaise or peanut butter or whatever it was that they weren't getting anything of in the store because they were so remote, the other person could sort of hold the space of, it's okay, we can breathe through this, we're going to be fine, we can make it one more day. And that sense of support that comes out of teamwork, and that sense of, not that we have to agree on everything, yet that we have an ability to navigate the conversations when they show up. We have an ability to navigate the emotional responses when they show up without turning it around and being like, I can't believe you're attacking me, or just leaping off the edge of the cliff with the other person without slowing down and taking turns being supportive to each other. And a lot of teamwork is really about this sense of reciprocity, that there's also this sense of, I've got your back and you've got mine. And again, it doesn't matter if we're talking about friendship, we're talking about an intimate long-term relationship, we're talking about your family, we're talking about your work situation. When we feel connected and when we feel like we work well together and when we have trust and safety that we can navigate difficult conversations, and we can also allow that we're going to show up as human beings, and sometimes those human beings are going to be throwing a temper tantrum like a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, that we can then find the humor and be able to recalibrate pretty quickly and get back to a place of balance. So what I've heard from couples over the last 20+ years is those who are doing really well and really enjoy their relationship, being a good team is something that all of them allude to, whether they say it straight out or they just talk about all the different examples of how they are a good team. Is, it depends on the couple. And what I've found across the board with couples or teams that aren't working well is that there's a lack of a sense of reciprocity, a lack of a sense of trust and safety, and a lack of a feeling of the ability to navigate difficult conversations. So I hope this gives you some place to be curious about your own relationships, the ones that are working really well, where you find yourself feeling like you're a really good team, versus the ones where you don't feel like you're a really good team with that, either that team as an organization or that person as a team. And just notice what comes up for you. Notice the places where it works and the places where it doesn't.